And here's a fascinating mother's story from all the way over in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome friends of Ai4Autism. In this episode we're taking a look at the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday article, Things I Want People to Understand About Autism by Dr. Radhika Mahase. Recently I went to the supermarket and took my 15-year-old son with me. He is autistic. When he is excited he would make sounds, he is non-verbal, and he would jump up and down. The workers in the supermarket where we usually go are accustomed to seeing us, so they don't really bother with him. Even once when he touched something on the shelf and it fell, they were okay. And since then he doesn't interfere with anything. When they see him jumping, they know that he's excited and happy. At this supermarket they had never seen him before, and judging by their reactions, they have never seen an autistic child before. They stared at my child like he was an alien or something. The supervisor came to tell me to make sure that he doesn't throw down anything, and if he does, I will have to pay for it. I was okay with that. It's fair enough. However, she proceeded to tell me that maybe I should consider keeping him in the car because he's distracting other customers with his loud noises, and that children like him can't really come out in public. I told her that I have to keep my child with me and proceeded to get my items while she stood there vexed. When my son was younger, I used to be embarrassed to take him out. As he got older, I accepted his autism. I became very defensive and would cuss up people if they were staring or said anything like that. As a mother, I have matured and I deal with things differently now. Now, I just feel sad that people are so narrow-minded and that they would treat another human being like that. I don't understand how people can look at a child and say he should stay home, or feel bothered if he's in his own world singing up and jumping. I really wish that people would make the effort to understand my autistic child so they can see how wonderful he is. I really think that when people judge my son, when they don't understand him, they're missing out on an incredible boy. It's their loss really, and I won't keep my son home because they don't understand him. This is just one of many experiences that Amanda has had in the last few years. Many other parents have had to deal with comments and stares when they are out in public with their children. Most parents are immune to these or are too busy focusing on their children rather than on what people have to say. However, if society understood autism, it would be one less issue that parents are faced with when raising a child on the autism spectrum. More importantly, it would be one major step towards making inclusion a reality. Understanding people on the autism spectrum would lead to better treatment, not only for them, but also for their families. It would get rid of many misconceptions and stereotypes that exist in our country. In this case, if the supermarket manager knew about autism, she would not have expected the mother to leave her son in the car or find it disturbing that he's making sounds. She would probably have been more accommodating and helpful towards the mother. While we would expect that everyone else deserves to be treated in a kind manner, or at least with some level of courtesy and professionalism, too often individuals on the autism spectrum are discriminated against and their differences are frowned upon. Understanding autism would help to change this to some extent. Understanding autism starts with education, and this education has to take place at all levels for everyone. It should start in the preschools where we teach children about accepting others who are different. Throughout primary and secondary school, students should be educated about all types of special needs and disabilities. These need to be included in our curriculum so that we can get rid of stereotypes. It will help to get rid of social barriers for those with special needs disabilities. We tend to ignore the fact that our neurotypical students, the normal ones, can learn from those with special needs and disabilities. Friendships cultivated can bring two-way benefits. That is why inclusion education is so important. Giving all children a chance to interact within the school environment, where they are all treated equally, is the best way to help each child to develop holistically. Education must extend outside the schools and into the workplace. For example, educating supermarket workers, security guards, all employees will facilitate more positive interactions and relationships in our society and will be a big step towards real inclusion in Trinidad and Tobago. While parents, caregivers and siblings of people on the autism spectrum might be in the best place to educate friends, relatives and their communities about autism and special needs, there is a need for a more defined campaign by government bodies. If this does not happen sooner rather than later, our society will continue to be judgmental, discriminatory, and inclusion will continue to be a vague concept with little chance of becoming a reality in our country. And that, Dr. Radhika Mahase, is a founder director of Support Autism in Trinidad and Tobago. And we agree with this article and what has to be said. So what are your thoughts regarding this? Do post your comments below, like, share, subscribe, and remember, love, life, and AI.